as a parent, we want more for our children than we have. And you struck a chord right there, which is, well, I did it that way, so this is the way it's got to be.
Yeah,
When a lot of the times, a new way, we go into paradigms a lot, and we talk about
absolutely.
paradigms.
It's like the classic story of a mother was going to prepare an Easter ham. All right, and she was a young mom. It's the first time she's ever going to do it. All right, and her mom and her grandmother were all going to come over for that. And the first thing she did was she cut off both ends of the ham. All right, stuck it in the oven, cooked it, and but that night, she asked her mom, because she had learned how to cook the ham from her mom, and she asked her mom, why did you cut off the ends of the ham? And her mom said, I really don't know. Let's ask you. Let's ask my mom. Let's ask your grandmother. And so they asked the grandmother, and the grandmother said, "Well, I cut off the ends of the ham because my pan wasn't big enough to fit the whole ham in. We've been cutting off the ends of our ham for 40 years because of somebody who had a smaller pan." That's what happens often. We learn new things. Want a great example that's staring all of us parents in the face?
Yes,
How
please, absolutely.
how adept are your children at technology already? Amazing. I mean, my kids know. We want to learn something about technology. We have to ask our kids.
Hmm.
It's like they were born with a different gene than we had. I don't even know how they learned to type, but they type really fast. They know everything. So by really opening up that giving the ball, you're going to have that chance to learn new things too.
Okay. Well, that brings us to another part is personal growth. If you could help everybody watching with some tips, some suggestions when it comes to personal growth, both for ourselves and for our children. What would the first tip be? Would it be something like be open to creativity and open to new things instead of just like putting up that paradigm wall and
But
saying, "Well,
yeah,
no, I've done it like this. This is the only way it could be" type scenario.
well, this is such a big area, Dan. I mean, my whole work is really about personal leadership, personal
Hmm.
growth, team building. So, I mean, my whole life's work is in this area. So to condense it down is a challenge. But I'll give a few simple ideas that I
Yeah.
think are most pivotal in opening up the opportunity to really expand yourself, to really grow, to help your children grow. So these simple ideas are both for you as a parent, but also for the children themselves, no matter what age. The first is that all breakthroughs, all growth, because when you think about growth, growth is a breakthrough. It's moving to another level.
Hmm.
All breakthroughs start with vision. So if you want to have growth, you have to have a fresh vision. And remember that what you focus on is what you create. It's not what you get, it's what you create. Because once you create a vision of something new and you really see some progression in that vision that you've created, you are drawn through the Pygmalion effect intrinsically, powerfully towards that new principle. So the challenge is to really start to take charge of what you focus on more consistently. Why? Most people focus so much of their thinking, so much of their vision on worry, on what's going to go wrong or what could go wrong. They focus on the obstacle. And we are conditioned in our environment to do that. When you watch a news report, it's all about the obstacles. It's not about the triumphs. It's all about what could go wrong. And it starts to
Hmm.
fire that fear inside of people. It starts to fire that, oh my gosh, this may not work out the way I wanted it to. So one of the people that I've known in my life who are absolute examples of continuous growth. Remember, John Wooden said there are no overachievers. That means every day we got a chance to be a better parent. Every day we
Hmm.
have a chance to be a better teacher. Every day we have a chance to take better care of our health. The people who exemplify that are people who are always filling their thinking with at least 90% of what they want rather than what they don't want. Because either way, what you focus on is what you create. So that's number one. Number two is energy. We don't realize that we are beings of energy and that to everyone we touch, our energy is our example. But more importantly than that is to make the connection that your energy is a choice. Most people think that energy is a matter of, a matter of chance. They think it's like the weather. Hope the weather's great for the family outing this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We think our energy the same. Hope I have enough energy to make it through this crazy week at work. Hope I have enough energy when I get home to stay awake. Well, energy is not like the weather. Your energy is a matter of choice. And there's 3 simple ways you can transform your energy. Number 1, change the way you move. The consistent patterns of the way you move are simply habits. Change the habit. Sit up a little taller when you're talking on the telephone. Get up and move your legs more often. Take rich, deep breaths, at least 5 deep breaths every hour to transform your level of breathing. Smile more often. All of those changes I'm talking about in movement absolutely will feel totally weird when you start doing them. They'll feel totally outside of your comfort zone. But the more you do them and the more they become habitual, the more that the old way of not using your body, of not having more movement, will feel weird, and you will transform. Your energy is created by the way that you move. Second key, ask yourself better questions. You want to transform your life, you want to grow, ask yourself, what are you truly grateful about today? Do that every single day. What you're grateful about helps you zero in on your on your priorities. Your priorities lead you to your pathway to purpose. So ask yourself great questions. And when somebody comes at you and it feels like you're getting really hammered, ask yourself a question like, what else could this mean? Instead of, why are they attacking me? What am I going to do to defend myself? Neither of which builds any strength or any possibility. Ask yourself, what else could this mean? How can I serve and support this person to transform? Those kinds of questions immediately change your energy, change your environment, change the relationship, and begin the growth process, the constructive rather than destructive process.
Mm-hmm.
Third, be a blame buster. Blame is the most destructive word in the language of growth. And why? Because blame is always about the past. If you think about blame in the context of time, it's always about the past. And you cannot undo the past. What you can do is learn from it and create a new transformation to a better future. So when somebody's starting to get into the blame game, stop it and say, okay, that's what happened. What can we learn? What's next? And immediately you transform from being stuck in the past to being really constructive and with the opportunity to grow and to gain from life's obstacles, bumps, and bruises, and to make it better. A next one that we talked about before, a huge one for personal growth, is to be fully present.
Yes.
Because whenever you're in the past or whenever you're too much in the future, what you do is you take away your opportunity to be here now. And that's where you have the most creativity. That's where you have the most light. That's where you have the most connection. And last, be a people builder. And to be a people builder means really use the power of recognition, acknowledgement, and appreciation. When you build other people, you cannot help build yourself. Whenever you help to enrich another person's experience, you can't help but enrich your own. Because you have, in order to find new things for them to grow in, you must put yourself in those new arenas. So to build people with recognition, acknowledgement, and appreciation, easy idea. Remember the television network ESPN. All right, the world leader in sports television, ESPN. ESPN means the E says acknowledge, appreciate, and thank people with and for effort and energy. Thank them with effort and energy. How often do we thank people and we forgot that we're even there? Hey, thanks a lot. Got to go.
But when it's a thank you, but it's not a.
Yeah, it's just an empty habit. Instead, look at that person in the eye, smile at them, get creative, do something with energy. On a 10-point energy scale, raise your level from 5.7 to 7.5 to 9.5 to 10.0. As you do, you'll become a magnet that ignites and inspires other people. So the E says thank people with and for effort and energy. The for is thank people for their effort, their energy, and not just the results. In other words, thank people, acknowledge people, all right, appraise people for the things they do control rather than the things they don't. They don't necessarily control the result. There's lots of factors, but they control what they put in to move towards that result. The S, and we could do a whole another talk on this one, but you know it well. Use the power of surprise.
Yes.
Every so often, you want to help people grow, you got to shock them a little bit with positive shock. You got to surprise them. You got to delight them by doing things they didn't expect. A handwritten card. We don't get any handwritten cards anymore. It's surprising. And in that card, because it's surprising, they're more interested in what you have to say. If I was to send a card to you, Dan, it would say, Dan, I just want you to know what a light you are in every life you touch. You've got so much desire and spirit to make people's lives better. You are so committed as a father and a husband. You live life with a belief that anything's possible, and as a result, you lift other people's possibility. When I send that to you in a handwritten card, it'll mean 1,000 times more than it would come as just a normal email, just because
Yes.
it had that surprise to it.
It's
So
out of the norm.
that's
It's
exactly right.
Mhm.
E, thank people with and for effort and energy. S, praise and thank people with surprise. P, we said it before, be fully present.
Present,
And,
yep.
and N, do it now. You never know if you have another tomorrow, but you have now.
Stories are always amazing, and your passion, love your passion, and just everything about you. Thank you, and thank you for
My
being
pleasure.
here.
My pleasure. You're doing great work. Going to make a difference for hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of young people, of families, of parents. Remember, whether this is going to you as a parent, or you're listening to this as a son or a daughter, you cannot help but enrich somebody's experience without helping enrich your own. So it's always about all of us.
It is. It completely is. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Dan.